Doom.
What is that last noise you're doing there? That's like a...
I am doing a quick vocal ascent and descent in order to prepare for my epic falsetto outro to, I don't know. I just felt like making a noise.
We're gonna pay that off now. I'm writing it down. We gotta pay off this falsetto outro that you're talking about now.
Oh no.
We don't preset these ending onomatopoeias at all. We preset the opening onomatopoeias. That's fair, but this falsetto
technically there's somebody else that's setting those intro onomatopoeias, and his name is Aiichiro Oda, and that you know why he gets to set them? He gets to set them because he is the creator of the masterpiece that is the manga One Piece. And I would like to take this moment to welcome you all back to Grand Line Tourist, a chapter by chapter examining or re-examining of said manga. I almost said said podcast. I was going to say, wait, that's getting too meta. We don't analyze our own podcast. No. I'm doing the examining for the very first time. I am your tourist, Jacob, and sitting across from me, who is going to introduce himself, is none other than...
I am Eric, the tour guide. I was doing vocal warmers too for whatever falsetto outro we're about to pay off.
Very good. Yeah, we got it. It's going to be wild.
In 25 to 40 minutes. Of however length this chapter is.
You know what? It's funny. We're actually pretty consistent. I think 25 to 40. I think that's a good ballpark.
You know what's funny? Like everybody listening to this already knows the length of the podcast, obviously, because they live in the future. But you and I going through this right now, we have no idea how long this is going to be.
When I sit back and it's funny. I hear this part of the podcast so many times before actually knowing the length, because I doing a little bit of editing, right? I don't know the length when I'm editing because it's longer than it would be. That's crazy. Interesting stuff. But
nutty putty.
Well, you know what's some even more nutty putty that's going to be interesting? It's going to be the chapter we are doing today. Chapter 44, Three Tough Cooks. I am ready to lead us through today's.
Go ahead. I already handed you the itinerary. I emailed it to you last night through our very own email, grandlinetourist@gmail.com. See, I'm putting it up top.
Represent.
I'm switching things.
You know what? We're going to get to the spot later where we usually will say it, and we're going to say, just please reference the beginning of the podcast, because it's already been said.
Yeah. We're talking about 23 to 40 minutes in the past.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know what? Someone else is obsessed with time, and it's Luffy, because he is trying to bargain down from working for 1 year. He's trying to get 1 week, and Chef Zeph is not having any of that. He's doing some special peg leg kick. He is upset. But then, you know what? He chills out a little bit and says, you know what, Luffy? An easy way out to not have to do all the work is just give me your leg. I'm missing one. Soon you'll be missing one. Luffy doesn't take so well to this. He says no. And, well, Chef Zeph's not particularly pleased. Does another, I like he announces his moves as well. He has a chef drop. And we'll see the result of that chef drop later. But in the meantime, we cut to introduce a new character. Dare I say, is it going to be our third tough cook? It's Patty Cook. Down in the bathroom, of all places. And it's we're gonna have to discuss a little more later what Patty Cook's doing exactly, but he's prepping to introduce himself to customers, prepping to take customers' orders. But he comes out and he sees Sanji, in the middle of dealing with, why do I always want to say Iron Fist, right? Iron Fist full body.
There you go.
He sees him dealing with Iron Fist. And he's not pleased because we just learned he, I think, is trying to be nice to customers. So he's upset that Sanji is, not doing well to one of them. And this customer, Full Body, is really not having a good time at this restaurant, to be honest. He's already been beaten up by Sanji. And, he's threatening to shut them down, and then Sanji is threatening to shut him down, and people
obviously
seem like to I feel like this is the closest we've gotten to a direct death threat in One Piece. I feel like Sanji kills people, okay? I don't know. But continuing on with the itinerary, we have Luffy and Chef Zeph of the chef drop come crashing through the ceiling.
Yes.
They were above us the whole time.
What a hot mess of a situation that's happening.
I know. I mean, I don't think I can't believe this is like a place people eat at. And especially if this is even somewhat regular, the chef proceeds, to kind of get upset at everybody. He beats down on Sanji, and then, because Full Body's not having a great day, beats down on him a bit more. And just when you think a lot of stuff has happened, all of a sudden a Marine comes in and warns that there's been a pirate of Krieg that has escaped. He's particularly talking to Full Body. This is a Navy Marine, right? And boom, the messenger, as much as he didn't want to be shot, gets shot.
Very Tarantino-esque too.
But but this being a restaurant, the Krieg pirate is apparently just another patron. Patty Cook just gets ready to take the order, but when threatened, and when he realizes he's not dealing with a normal customer, he's dealing with someone that wants to extort him for a meal, Patty Cook beats down on the Krieg pirate. We got a lot of beaten down going on in this little lonely chapter here. Customers cheer. The Krieg pirate's outside, and Sanji takes pity on him. But for whatever reason, we'll discuss more, decides to give him some food, which the pirate states, I never ever had nothing so delicious. And Luffy, upon seeing this, says, I found you my cook. He knows that this is the person that he wants to have on his crew. And that's a lot of action, and that has led us to a pretty important spot, a spot that was foreshadowed. This is why we're here, right? We're going to the Baratier to find a cook
because someone needs to be able to change, to turn our food to edible things, or actually, it's fun to think about the whole idea of someone needs to be in charge of just making sure we can still eat on the sea.
Yeah,
inventory.
I think all we've had eating wise on the Merry Go is some lime juice to save off some scurvy. So yeah, we could use some better grub. Some better grub. I think so far moments.
Too, they've been pretty lucky going from island to island, I think.
Yeah. Right? No, and thinking about traveling the Grand Line, that's a long. It's all sea. I mean, maybe they're. You know what? I don't know. You can't tell me because that would be a little bit. You'll guide me through it later. Whether or not we're dealing with tons of islands, how much land is littered throughout the ocean of the One Piece world. I don't know yet.
No, I get you.
But I imagine there's got to be some stretches that are a little lonelier than others. I'd imagine.
Okay, so this brings me to my first topic, and we talked about it already. This is what I like to call, this is the Happy Village trope, but with a lot more violence.
Wait, Happy Village trope, just the fact that we're at a happy.
Right? You know how in the beginning of Beauty and the Beast, Belle has literally a song where she's in the Happy Village. It's the trope thing. It's a storytelling device where you go, this is what the world is. Look how fun this location is. I think that's what he's trying to do here, which is that. Last chapter you asked, why do you think all the waiters left? And I was like, it's probably because stuff like this goes down all the time. It's always fighting. There's always fighting in this thing because, at the end of the day, their clientele is regular patrons, obviously, but also navies and pirates, anybody who comes through. So these dudes are fighting all the time. So I think
I have to admit, we had Patty Cook serving the role of waiter there for a moment and immediately gets a gun to his head, right? So you know what? Waiters jumping ship. Yes. I get it now.
Yeah. The waiters obviously going to jump ship. And Patty Cook was like, you don't have any money, so I'm going to beat you up. A gun doesn't scare me. Which is kind of fun to see, right? Pirates don't scare them. Navies don't scare them. They're going to fight, right? They fight all the time.
There we go. 3 tough cooks, right? That's what
we're
dealing with.
3 tough cooks. Yeah, 3 tough cooks. Because Zeph also fights here, too. Zeph is also fighting Luffy up top for whatever reason,
Yeah, and fighting Luffy shouldn't be easy, right? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of maybe hard to line up. We kind of have 2 power dynamics going on here. I don't, it also could just be Luffy having a little bit of respect for this,
right. He's not going to, because he also put a hole.
But even still, they're still I think Luffy could, I don't think he's being taken a little bit of surprise by Chef Zeph, Chef Zeph's got some gall to him.
So it's really cool, right? The Happy Village trope, I mean, that move obviously is here's the setting. This is what a normal day of this setting looks like. So now, knowing that we have 3 tough cooks, and we know that this is a fighting shonen, I hope, Jacob, in your mind, a little bit, you're like, what is the next version? Like, what's gonna be happening here? Because look how much violence is already happening, and look how much fighting is already happening. What, like, the sheer scale of what needs to happen next, it's like it's compounding already. So it's fun. It's kind of fun to see it happen in this way.
No, it is, and I think this is maybe doing. It has a similar feel to the way that the arc that is it called the Usopp arc? I don't know if
we call it that.
Yeah. The way that kind of expanded out with lots of different characters. I think this is just happening a lot faster here.
Yeah.
Like literally, we're just colliding the plot lines together, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Luffy was talking to Chef Zeph. Well, no, now they're down here, right? Oh, he was worried about this pirate that was on the other ship. Well, oh, that pirate escaped and is now here, right? And we're also trying to find the cook, and it's all just happening. We'll have to see if it kind of slows its pace down and expands out again, kind of like the Usopp arc where things kind of get split up, or if we're just in for like a rip-roaring, maybe we never leave this little ballroom here. I imagine we do, but we'll see.
I will have to say, because you mentioned it last chapter too, like the scaling, like what he's doing, like you're saying, he's just more efficient about saying like this is what's important for you to understand, power dynamic wise, right? I think the big thing that they mentioned here was that that this like the Craig pirates are the strongest pirates in the East Blue.
Yeah.
Right, and they caught one, and this guy is strong because he killed 7 Marines, or he beat up 7 Marines before he got to where he was. And the more important thing is that he was starving by the time they found him 3 days ago, and they haven't.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's still like he's starving, and he still beat up 7 Marines on his way to get some food, and all that stuff. And then to only get his butt whooped by Patty. So like it's for real. Like these guys are for reals. Where the power scaling is already set. So what's the next level up? Or is this an arc that really is trying to deconstruct that idea about what power really means and what is power overall?
No, it's going to be really interesting. Yeah, because like for me right now, it's enough power being shown in enough places that I can kind of see the levels and where they're set, but it'll make more sense once I see a little bit more. Like right. I think because for me this is kind of like more my first time where power levels are going to be shown to me and then used, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Before, I mean, I had this idea of power levels, but I haven't had so much experience with seeing how they pay off yet.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I've kind of learned because I've, like we mentioned before, I am a tour guide and I also watch and I'm a big fan of anime and manga, where like, especially fight mangas and fight shonen mangas and stuff like that is so much about like what's stronger, who's the strongest one, who has the strongest fighting spirit type of thing, right?
Gotcha.
So, and the only way for you to track that stuff is for literally the storyteller or the artist or the writer to be like, this guy is stronger than this guy. This guy just beat up that guy, therefore you could come with these things. But you can see Oda is kind of like he's a good storyteller with this specific genre because he's established things very quickly in very quick like spurts of detail. I mean, obviously there's exposition heavy stuff, like a random patron in the dining room was the one who said the Craig pirates, the strongest pirates of the East Blue, right? Like, okay, that is just exposition dump. Also, this is still a story for children to enjoy.
No. Future main character / someone who was formerly a pirate Krieg member, and that's how he knows that fact. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Coming back.
Exactly. So yeah. The other thing that I kind of want to move on to, which is kind of deeper thing, which is, and we kind of saw it in the other chapter, which is starvation. Like you were kind of asking, like you couldn't figure out why Sanji fed him.
Yeah, no, it was kind of so I had some thoughts though, right? Like because we had Sanji last chapter get angry over food waste, right? You know, over a little bit. So and then there even was a line, I can't remember exactly how it goes in this one. Someone saying like I think it might have been Patty Cook saying something along the lines, I wouldn't even feed you like yesterday's old rice.
Yeah.
And then I don't think Sanji's serving him old rice, but he may well be. I'm not sure. Like I wasn't sure if it's like I don't know if Sanjay was just upset at this idea of someone starving, right, and not being fed. Like maybe he just is actually. Because the other thought I had was Luffy. Okay, maybe the most direct question I have that'll make what I'm thinking about make the most sense is why does Luffy say at the very end, "That's my cook," in your opinion?
Okay, so I do have a breakdown of what it is. I think just like how last chapter analyzed the idea of lies and how lies play into a person's life, I think this chapter is going to analyze the idea of food and what it means to be hungry.
Okay.
Right? And then Sanji essentially saved the cat. Like, that's the trope that he kind of did. Right? He saw a pirate who was obviously not good. He killed... We assumed he killed 7 people. He for sure killed 1. He killed 1 right in front of us. But he still fed the guy. Right?
Yeah.
He still fed the guy, and the guy was very appreciative, and he's like, I've never in my life eaten something as good. And I think food means something different to Sanji, and I think Luffy sees that. Right? He sees that idea,
And I think it's just interesting because I think that is I think the read that I agree with, where it's not just that Luffy sees a man eating the best food he's ever had.
No,
it's that, like, he sees this person feeding somebody else who needs to be fed, you know, and that's why he's found his cook. Right? This is someone who understands what it means. Understand what it means to feed somebody, right?
To be hungry,
Yeah, you know, understand what the hunger is, and it's kind of funny. This was the time that I decided to pull out the translation in this chapter was around this food eating section.
Okay,
and it's actually you the way you actually worded it actually made it sound like you understood it almost the translated way. Like, there's a couple ways. Like, so originally we have, I never ever tasted nothing so delicious. Better, and I deserve certain it is. I thought I was a goner, a dead man for sure. And so when he says I never ever tasted nothing so delicious, I was kind of just taking it as like he's starving, and so it's delicious, right?
Yeah.
Now, and in a different translation, we have, I'm not worthy. I never ever had such a delicious meal in my life. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. So that one kind of makes it clear that, like, it could still be the same reason that the meal only tastes delicious because he's starving. But the way he said it, I've never ever had such a delicious meal in my life, actually makes me think maybe the food is actually really good as well. Not sure. Might be reading a little bit too much. It could be both, and so that's what, like, maybe that's it can be both, and so that's
because it's allowed to, like, the idea of food. It's allowed to be multiple things, right? It could be the best meal you've ever tasted. Like, honestly, just from a surface level, it's just very tasty. But also, it could be the best food that you've had because you haven't eaten in 5 days.
Yeah,
right?
no,
it could literally be your lifeline. It could be your lifesaver that's thrown into the ocean right now to save you.
No, and I mean, you being the tourist, I assume you're at least partially right about this idea of the thematic payoff of analyzing food. I'm really excited. I think food is an interesting thing to think about. Just sustenance for humans. It's you know, you have to do it. You have to eat it.
Yeah.
It's also something you can spend time enjoying eating, and it's important for something. No, I'm really excited.
So many things. Like with Oda, the one thing is what, especially now, because this podcast is forcing us to read everything so slow and go at it so slow. Which is like, he takes one small concept and his idea, and he kind of like, what is the yes and of it all? Like, what's the deeper meaning of it? Because in this chapter alone, we see what Patty Cake thinks about food, which is like a means to make money. And Sanji, in this whole chapter, is criticizing Patty Cook on the way he cooks. He criticizes the way his quality of being a cook and all that stuff. Because we're already knowing that Sanji has a different take on food.
No, and this is interesting, just because I think Patty Cook is such an extravagant character, and I think you kind of solidified my understanding of him. When we see him kind of prepping in the bathroom. This is him prepping his spiel that he uses to get money from people, I guess.
Yeah, because
is maybe the way to think about it. Because originally I wasn't sure. I almost felt like, is this just like an insanely go-getter version of a waiter? I wasn't totally sure.
Nah, because he's practicing, because he's still insulting them too, right?
Yeah, right? No, he's like, half, like, because I guess his intro words are pretty odd, right?
Right.
Squid face, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Welcome, Squid face. Come again yesterday. Pardon me, Monsieur Sewer. Yeah. And then that'll be 10,000 berries, sucker. Like, that's what his character.
There we go. Okay. No. That it was so wild and extravagant that I almost it did confound me a little bit. But I think you were mentioning it there, kind of solidified what's going on.
He has the Popeye arms, but he also looks like the villain from Popeye as opposed to the actual Popeye, right? Like the design of him is very. You can tell, like, if you put those 3 chefs on a lineup, you're like, which one of these guys care about money? You could probably tell which one out of the 3, out of Zev, Sanji, and him, right? It could be a tie between him and Zeph, because Zeph did this whole thing as like, oh, my stuff, we're breaking my stuff. By the way, which he made a hole in his whole ceiling, so that's on him.
It's true.
But I also did not understand that panel when after he does Chef Drop, and then he does this reaction, and then all we see is the top of his hat. I didn't get it. I did not get it reading. I was like, what does that panel mean? And then I finally got the payoff when he fell down. And I was like, oh, that's him and Luffy falling down the roof.
No, it's tough, right? Like this, it's a pretty aggressive merging of the 2 different things we're seeing going on in the chapter. Yeah,
they did it last chapter too. I actually had a hard time realizing after Luffy lands the cannonball at the Baratie, I didn't realize it was a flash forward into the restaurant.
You're trying to piece together what's going on.
Yeah, because I got a little like jarred. I was like, oh, where are we? Is this a flashback? Like, was it a flashback moments before the cannonball hit? No, it just moved forward.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like it. It's funny how mangas can kind of, because they have static frames, like, you don't always get such a good feel for the length of any particular jump, right? And you don't always have page turns to make things feel, the right, like, weight to them or whatnot. It's a tough line to draw, especially when you're trying to cover, you want to cover some amount of plot in each one of these, chapters, right? You can't just have nothing happen and be really precise with your timing. Mm-hmm. So it's a tough line he's following, and he's doing a really good job. I don't think as far as, do I have anything else down here? No, that was, I think, this is just it maybe could even belong in our joke section, but I just thought, we've been talking a lot about how wild this place is. Luffy says this is a madhouse. Yeah. And like, that's Luffy. Luffy says this is a madhouse. This place is a madhouse. Like,
and like I was telling you, it's the happy village, but in this case, the happy village, the happy normal day-to-day stuff, is probably just fights left and right in this place. It's essentially just a fancy bar. It's like a fancy bar that pirates still throw chairs around in. Like, that's what's going down here. And the food has to be good because people must actively know that fights happen here all the time.
Yeah, no, it kind of gives this place a personality, right? It would be like, this would be a place if there was an analog in the real world and you wanted to take me there, I wouldn't want to go because I'd be like, but I heard the reputation is there's bar fights all the time. You'd be like, but Jacob, the ramen's to die for. I'd be like, no, I don't want to go, Eric.
But the soup, Jacob.
But the soup.
Yeah. It's all right. Just don't make eye contact. You'll have a good time.
If a fight breaks out, we're sitting close to the exit, and I'll be like, I'm not comfortable with this, my friend.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't have anything else. We kind of talked about the main things. I think it's super fun to have Patty come. Do you have any thoughts about Patty Cook overall? I mean, we kind of talked about him briefly, but
really just solidifying his character helped a lot. But besides that, so far, just he's very visually expressive. He's almost a bit overwhelming, I'd say, just as a character, because he's just, he's saying crazy stuff. He's making the big facial expressions. He's also, like, beating down on people pointing guns at him. I don't... It's always interesting to know which characters are going to get a lot more fleshed out in the arc. It'll be interesting to see if he's the one. He almost seems too wild to ground him further in my mind. And I don't know Oda would take that on. Well, I feel like Sanji and, Iron Fist are going to get more grounded in different ways. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how that comes out.
We'll see.
But no, we can transition to. I kind of let us off with a pretty solid joke. I think this is a madhouse. What's some ha-has? What jokes does OP got for you this chapter?
Oh my god, my favorite one was, "I'll let you permit me to work it off in a week." It's what Luffy says to Zeph.
Yep. No, I really like it. Luffy's like, he really bargains hard. A year. A week.
A week.
I can do a week. It. I can do a week.
Yeah, a week is great. I love the whole argument is it's incredible. All of it's so good. All of it is so good. That first opening chapter, and we can tell this is the change of art style that might have been in color. I think if we had just a regular Shonen Jump of this chapter, because it's those like highly detailed and shading and stuff like that. So it must have. I'm guessing it was in color. But this opening cold open is great. It's so funny, so funny. What else do you have?
You jumped on me too hard. I think the chef said that to. No, Luffy said that to the chef, I think, because somebody jumps on somebody.
Because Zeph was like, "You broke my ceiling." He's like, "No, you jumped on me too hard."
Yeah. No, and I liked it because it's an interesting relationship, this fight that Luffy and Chef have going on. We kind of already talked about how we maybe think that Luffy, power balance-wise, should be able to just win this fight, potentially. Not totally sure on that.
But he's still in the wrong.
Either way.
So he's not going to fight.
Yeah, either way, they're still in the wrong, and also it's kind of play fighting a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what's going on here? Like, you jumped on me too hard. It just sounds like what the kids that, like, accidentally broke the bunk bed would say when, they get in front of their parents, and now everyone's upset. And they're like,
This is a sneaky joke earlier in the beginning where he says, "Just give me one of your foot, just give me a leg."
I'm not Buggy, right?
Yeah, I'm not Buggy the Clown.
Yeah, and then it's because the leg can come off, right? For Buggy. Yeah, no, I that was it took me a moment too when I read that. I was like, wait, what? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I love it. Let me think. Let me see if I have another one. I think my other one was Patty Cook says customers are the lifeblood of customers are the lifeblood of the restaurant. So why is his lifeblood dripping all over the floor? That was
pretty good,
right?
No, and that's one of those. It's just a killer line,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's saying it. It just is like got that perfect reversal, and it's referring to something that's horrible, like, you know what I mean, as far as we're like understanding, right? Someone's blood's dripping everywhere, right? Iron Fist, full body is not in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, that's all the ha-has I have. You have any ha-has on your side?
I got two more to close this out. We got, I know that guy. He's the Cannon Man. That's Luffy just kind of referring to Lieutenant Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And then we also got, I liked how Patty says customer, party of one, when, this guy that just shot somebody shows up, this is just how they roll, we'll get him to a table. That's fine.
See, because he doesn't, they don't judge.
Right. No, they don't.
Because if he has money, then he's a customer.
No, and now this is kind of cinching it completely, right? And then the second he learns he's not intending on paying, that's when Patty Cook gets upset, right? That's when he gains his strength.
Sanji doesn't care about that. Sanji still feeds him.
No, Sanji was more about respect for the food, respect for the chef,
Yeah.
Respect what it means to eat, maybe. So we'll see more of that later.
I'm trying to connect the dots here because the inverse of that, Patty would have no trouble serving and being at the will of Lieutenant Iron Fist, who threw his soup on the floor, who puts flies in these things, right?
Because he can pay.
Because he could pay. And Sanji has zero respect for this man.
And Sanji even makes a comment in the previous chapter about the fact that, Lieutenant thinks he can just get away with this stuff because he's, well off.
Yeah, because he's well off. Yeah. He has no respect for food. Yeah, he has no idea, no respect of food. You don't know. You're always full.
No, I like this. Chefs, the restaurants, life, metaphors. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. All right, let's get into. I guess this is the only thing left for us to do is fight each other with our foods.
That's right.
In this case, panels.
Yes, we eat paper sometimes. We're like little. What's a creature that eats paper? Moths? Do moths eat paper?
I think the
little moths that fly through the air.
Moth battle. I just want to make sure we had some sort of noise because we always make some sort of noise before our panel battle.
Oh yeah, we may be quiet when we fly, but we're not quiet when we start flinging the panels back and forth. We're moths, and we are getting into today's panel battle. This is
I'm pretty sure Muhammad Ali said that. So. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, this is where Eric and I both pick our, favorite panel, the panel that speaks to us the most from the chapter, and they go head to head. And, if you rewind your podcast far enough, you'll be able to find. This is the time we should be able to properly estimate, but whatever it is, there's some duration of time you can rewind to find the email to send in your panel if you want to be, included in the running.
Name a podcast at gmail.com.
Oh no! I'm gonna love that. I might cut that out.
No, don't cut it. If you cut
marking.
If you mark it and cut it, can you at least replace it with this one, which is nameapodcast@gmail.com.
Oh yeah! Oh, that's good. I think, man, now editing. Fine. Okay.
You don't have to do it.
No. I mean, it's already. It's been talked about. Oh, you flung your little moth wing with its little panel already before I could even get mine out. Let's see what we got here. We have. Oh, we got Chef Zeph and Luffy. They are in the presence of a gigantic hole that Luffy made when, he sent a cannonball back. You'll serve me for 1 full year, eh? I won't. I've already waited 10 years to be a pirate. I won't wait another whole year. That's my last offer. I'll let you permit me to work it off in a week. And the coolest thing is we have kind of like this dual action of Chef Zeph's hat being both like raised up and also hitting Luffy in the head, a little whap whap.
Yeah, like a bink. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and this is also a very detailed panel for an area I don't know if we're gonna go back to, which is like, is this Chef Zeph's room?
I think so. I think that's where the cannonball hit.
Yeah. Oh man, Luffy really, it's kind of funny. Like he's like, I don't know. They got this like wiser old person relationship kind of going on. Like you can imagine Luffy if he was ever a chef winding up like Chef Zeph somehow and having some crazy hat. I don't know.
So he does this a lot, which is one of these things where the way he designs his panels is that you can tell that the dialogue is happening one line after another, right? But the way he lines it up, we're kind of reading it from right to left. You know that the dialogue is happening sequentially, but the panel is frozen. But in your head, you're kind of filling in the detail and the time of what's happening during that scene, which is the thwap of Zeph's hat hitting Luffy's head while this dialogue is happening, and they're negotiating the time. But all the while, the very last line lines right on top of the whole reason why they're having this conversation, which is the cannonball hole made by Luffy when he missed his shot.
Oh my goodness. You think you just sold me
what
a lot.
A master class of a panel design. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and then that's also a perfect spot for a bubble, right? Because it's like the absence being filled in by the words, and this is what the words are all about, trying to figure out how these two can negotiate this particular problem. Ooh,
and I love the body language here. Like, Zeph knows that he got him, so he's like leaning back and whacking him on the head with his gigantic hat, reminding him a literal representation of his authority in this place, right? Mm-hmm. And then Luffy looking like a kid. He's a little kid on a... It's awesome.
You get 1,000,000 points for analysis there. Well,
okay.
Again, I have to hit you with mine, but here we go.
I can still like it.
Boom.
Which one?
And I'll let you know this is going to be. I guess oh, you know what? I gotta learn how to count panels. I think it's gonna be panel 3.
Oh, panel 3. 1, 2, 3. Is it the arg you want? Oh, what you want doesn't matter?
Yeah, it's the one.
All right. I do like that one. I love the joke in that, which is give me a leg, and then Luffy says, "Well, I don't want to." That's crazy, Mister. And then we get this really cool like action shot. We get the action lines, vertical lines, to let us know that the action of Zeph is jumping. He's jumping into the air, and as he's jumping, we get this line of "Arg, what you want doesn't matter, boy, because you put a hole in my restaurant, you fool." I added the rest of that dialogue. And then we get Luffy in the foreground kind of backing away like, oh, I guess it's about to get violent.
Oh, yeah. No, and I think Chef Zeph, in that pose in the air, it's like he's like a bigger guy. He's got like his body's more, larger in the middle, and it kind of just, I want to say like, gives me Street Fighter vibes of large characters jumping in the air, getting thinner, kind of like a squash and stretch sort of thing. And I think just seeing Chef Zeph do it, and he's going to come down and things are going to get serious, it just delighted me a little bit. This especially the way his hands are. I think his arms are just like it almost. I think there's a certain
it's kind of like Karate Kid.
To this
it's kind of like the Karate Kid crane kick look.
Yeah, but like there's a glee to it. Like I don't know. For some reason I got the feeling that like the chef is enjoying this jump.
I think so, because he's still in a position of power over this random stranger.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little funny.
Indeed. I don't know. So not quite as there's not such a large, brilliant analysis to be made of my panel, but still, I think it still stands its own. Don't give me that look.
No, I think it's good.
That look of like nice panel, Jacob, Mr. Tourist.
I always think
it's clear why I'm the tour guide.
A little more than I judge you on your panel choices, my man.
Fair enough.
All right. I'm looking frantically through this chapter to figure out an onomatopoeia to end the chapter.
Whoa. Wait, I think we already foreshadowed something that's supposed to happen. It involves both of our voices slowly getting higher.
Okay, so let's do the interrogation of this brig pirate but very high voices.
Interrogation?
Yeah, we're interrogating the Craig pirate, but we're Marines with very high voices.
Okay, let's get this Craig pirate to fess up. He ain't no good.
Listen, you pirate. We know what you did.
We know. Wait,
how did he get a gun? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
If the 7 of us can stop him. Yeah, the 7 of us can stop him. We got him. Man.
I'm number 4. I'm 4th.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh.